name's Tony, short for Antonio. I guess I'm your average guy, you know what I'm saying? You're all around average guy. I have normal friends that I like do normal things. I like to read, I like to watch TV, I like to cook. I like to do hair. I went to school for cosmetology. I went to culinary school. So I know how to cook a little bit. I'm 33. I don't know how I feel about that. I just been, how do you say, dealing with life. I was incarcerated for this felony that I had. I'm graduated from all that. Had served 10 years of deferred adjudication probation. And in that time span, I had to do community service. I did community service one time here, but at that point, I wasn't necessarily homeless. Well, I was living with someone. I was 17 when I found out. I was kicked out of my house because my dad, didn't accept my sexuality, and I was super rebellious. Antagonized him a lot, and we just, I left. In me leaving totally changed my life, you know what I'm saying? Because I was going to go to the military right when I graduated from high school, but I couldn't go. That's when I found out that I had HIV. Actually, totally just sidetracked my whole plan for everything. I had to think of what to do really quickly, you know what I'm saying? I was 17, like out in the streets, basically, and no money, and I know that I needed to make money quickly, and the only thing that I could recall was my parents telling me, you're gonna inevitably make money doing whatever it is that you're good at, whatever it is that you're good at, whether you like it or you don't, you'll make money doing that. And I was like, God, okay, so I'm like, well, I know how to cook, you know what I'm saying? I know how to cook. I guess I can go to culinary school. Let me check it out, and I went to Le Cordon Bleu for like a year. In this time, throughout all this time, I'm developing like hardcore codependency issues, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to manage, you know what I'm saying? Because at this point, I don't know that I have codependency problems, you know what I'm saying? I realize when I do, because by like, I don't know, the third, fourth boyfriend after that one, I'm like, I saw a pattern. I was in that mindset where I really didn't care, about a lot of things, but mostly I didn't care about myself. I'm going through this whole, self-growth, self-love journey still to right now. It's not ever done. I feel like every day I learn something about myself. I really need to know what it means to like love yourself, to love myself, to to the point where I'm so comfortable with me that I'm living life, and as I'm living it, I'm riding on my train. I'm more than happy to let somebody come in, you know what I'm saying? But I won't stop. I won't stop because that was one of my problems. Like every time I was in a relationship, I always forgot about me. Every time I broke up with someone or was in a bad, spat with someone, I went and I drank. I needed a spiritual awakening. It was to switch gears in my life and to not be so codependent. You're 18, you're a young gay guy, you're new, you're fresh to the scene, and you're like everyone's new purse or eye candy or something, you know what I'm saying? So I took advantage of that. I took advantage of that like anybody would, and that's how I lived. I lived because I was taken care of by this guy, that guy. I didn't try to fix my codependency issues, you know what I'm saying? If anything, I worsened them at that point in time, but I didn't care, because I didn't care, because so long as I had food, so long as I had, somewhere to sleep, someone that cared about me, or that at least that I thought that cared about me, it was okay, I was fine. I feel like I was raised right. I know that, to get things that really mean something, you have to work hard for them, I realize that, if you really want something in life, you're gonna have to make sacrifices, you know what I'm saying? And I know that. I didn't accept all that. I'm too young for that. I have time. I'm only 18, 19. I think at 25, 24, I started dancing, started started dancing because I got into that whole scene. So I was dancing at the clubs, as a male performer, and like that was fun for like a little bit. Well, for like 5 or 6 years, you know. Um, I always had that to fall back on, Although I had a job, I mean, it really wasn't working. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't hard earned money. If you just swallow your pride and just do what you got to do, you can get anything in these clubs or whatever, or in those clubs. Um, and I saw that, I saw that, and I saw how easy it was to say yes to something, and then you're somewhere where you don't want to be, or you're with people that you don't even know, throughout this time that I'm like, in the clubs or whatnot, again, I'm still dealing with like this emotional wreck of like, history that I've had, and trying to wrap my head around what am I going to do with my life, and how am I going to get to wherever I want to get, and where do I want to go. So I guess you can say that I really didn't have a purpose at that point. I was just kind of like, I guess, kind of on some kind of autopilot. When I found out I had HIV, I just hated myself, like genuinely hated myself, everything about myself. I hated the way I looked. I hated the way I spoke. It was ridiculous how bad I did. And whenever I was doing community service here, I met my best friend now, and I was like couch surfing with him, for like a good while, and to the point where I was you know like to the point where I realized that I was homeless. I was like, oh my God, you have nowhere to go. I developed schizophrenia. I don't know why. I can't tell you why, but I can tell you that like from one day to another, I was hanging out with a friend, who put my foot into to that whole ASD family, and this one morning, I was in my feelings about something. I was in my feelings about something, and I said to him, I was like, dude, like those people outside would not shut up. You know what I'm saying? They've been talking all night, and like I don't know if you know them, but like, dude, they've been talking about you. You know what I'm saying? They're saying all kinds of stuff about you, and I can't believe you're not saying anything. I don't know. Like, you should probably go out there and say something to them. And he's all like, "Oh, what are you talking about?" I'm like, he really didn't pay no mind to that comment that I made, and I stayed there at the apartment, and you know, just was listening all day to this voice that I wholeheartedly thought that was an actual person. You know what I'm saying? Well, actual people, and to the point where I got so upset that I engaged in conversation, with the voices, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna wait for my friend to get back, and I'm gonna tell him, we're both gonna go out there, and we're gonna squash this, because this is ridiculous, and this is, I feel crazy or whatever. And you know, I said to him, I was like, okay, when I go out there, if I start fighting, make sure that, but you put money on my books and all this and that, just getting them ready for, whatever. I was, stern that there was somebody out there, and I was probably going to get in a fight because they were saying really bad things about him, and whatever, and whatever. So we went out there, and there wasn't a car in sight. I'm like, wow, there's like nobody out here, like not even anybody leaving, So I I realized that, I mean, man, like maybe they left, maybe they just, I don't know, it was a holler and run type thing, But I mean, I tried to be as rational as I could, and he said to me, he's all like, I think you're hearing things, and I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm not crazy. You know what I'm saying? I'm not crazy. I know myself. I think I know when I'm hearing things. And any normal, quote unquote, normal person would not accept it. Because I mean, your whole life you're living like, I guess regular things. You know what I'm saying? And you're dealing with, your this and that, and and you all of a sudden hear things or people that other people don't hear. It's sad. It's scary. It's confusing. You know what I'm saying? You're trying to grasp on how you're gonna be okay with life. I'm telling you, like, it completely changed my life because it's like, imagine you wake up one day and you just like there's something new about you. You really can't get a grasp on what it is, but there's something new about you. You don't know if you're comfortable with it. You don't know if you're okay with it. You don't know if you don't know about it, but you know that there's something new about you. And mind you, on top of everything, there's already all kinds of shit wrong with you. But I was not defeated because I can't be defeated easily. I'm super stubborn, and the thing about stubborn people is that they're persistent, and they don't give up. So I'm not dead yet. I figured that I'd be I triumph over this little mental illness that I have, and I'm trying to be as normal as possible and live life. I realized that I needed to dedicate my time to following through with day-to-day little things, if taking out the trash, or fucking brushing your teeth, or it's to any person, little normal things like that are just miscellaneous. But like, no, it's like when you're dealing with so much in your head, like, oh my god, since I moved here, I've had the opportunity and the time and the headspace and the bandwidth to touch base on my artistic side, I guess, and and I'm having a lot of fun with that. To me, I don't know how to draw, but I know how I feel, and I know how to put it on the canvas. And apparently, people call that art. It takes me out of my head completely. Whenever I'm in a in a painting or about to thinking about whatever it is that I'm going to put on the canvas, it's like I'm in a sort of kind of ecstasy because I'm like a little kid, so excited because I don't know. I have a brand new fresh canvas, and I'm like, oh my god, I don't know what I'm gonna do with you, but I'm gonna do something so fun, and and I just throw some paint on the canvas, and like I literally throw some paint on the canvas. So that's how I go about my art. I want it to make me feel a certain kind of way, whether it looks crappy, or it does or doesn't, I want it to make me feel good. I don't know. It's important to always be happy, like at least once a day about something. I haven't been happy for a really long time. So, painting makes me happy. So that's my paint now. Whenever I'm painting, I don't have HIV, no one cares that I'm gay. Like, I mean, I'm not schizophrenic. Like I feel really normal, whenever I'm painting. Friends can only be there so much. Every time I couch surf with anyone, I was burning bridges. There's only so much time that you can be with. There's only so much that a friend can do for you. You know what I'm saying? And there's only so much help that they can give you. And there's only so much patience that they have. I mean, I had to go to Salvation Army for a while. I went to the homeless shelter because I would randomly go when I absolutely didn't have anywhere to go. And that's really eye opening. It's really eye opening to share space or like living quarters or a meal with a crowd that you never thought that you could ever be a part of, but you don't know who you are until you start hanging out with them. As an adult, not that I don't regret any decisions that I ever made, but I just wish that I could have made wiser decisions whenever I was younger. You know what I'm saying? It's just decisions that didn't hurt so much, like emotionally. They didn't leave such an emotional scar. My one biggest regret is leaving the house, being so full of pride that I felt like I needed to leave. I to this day still blame my dad for kicking me out, but I mean, he told me, in his words, he was like, I don't want any gay people living in my house or whatever. And I was like, I guess I'm leaving. You know what I'm saying? I could have pretended that I wasn't, and been like, okay, well, I'm not gay. I guess I'm not gonna go anywhere. But I I wanted to buck up, and I was like, well, let me show you who I am. I guess I'm leaving, and it's just that simple choice, that if I was more mature at that point in time, I could have just, stayed. I think my life could have been a little bit different if when I was on the wait list for like 2 years. I've been here since January. It's a blessing for one. You know what I'm saying? And because it is a blessing, you have to take care of it. You have to be grateful. You have to show gratitude. I chose to be a part of this family. You know what I'm saying? ASD. In that entails being responsible. Being taking care of you. What I mean by that is actually taking care of you. Like getting a job. Like having discipline for yourself. No one's gonna tell you what to do, because you have to tell you what to do in order to, maintain everything. I'm leaping into the uncomfortableness about life right now, and one of my therapists says that that's what you need to do, and that's how people grow. What I'm saying, we're in uncomfortable situations and we grow mentally. So it's a little bit uncomfortable, but it's not. I don't think it's bad. I think that I'm learning a lot about myself. It's good. I like it. I love it, actually. Job, because when I first moved in, there's no furniture, there's nothing. I'm like, and there's a little twin bed in the room, and I'm like, oh my god, so I have a place. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, I didn't know what I wanted, but because for one, I was just excited that I had a roof over my head. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't care if I didn't have anything. I had somewhere to call my home. You know what I'm saying? And that's good. Like, now I don't have to worry about that. Now I have to worry about how do I keep this? What do I have to do to maintain this, and how do I secure this? It's really just about being goal oriented, having a purpose, following through with whatever it is that you do, whatever it is, follow through, finish it. Be kind to your neighbors and to yourself. Just keep doing right, and everything will just fall into place, and it has been. I'm super lucky to be here, and I know that. I'm super lucky to be here. I don't know how to express my gratitude to like people who work here, or or my neighbors, or but I do. I'm super grateful. That's what you want out of life. You want that normality. You know what I'm saying? Like, not to worry about where you're gonna sleep at. Not to worry about where you're gonna eat, or what you're gonna eat. But I don't have those worries now. I really don't have much advice to give. But I will say that, one, living in acceptance is probably one of the most valuable things that anybody could ever be in. And being grateful and showing gratitude is the most wholehearted thing that anybody can actually be and do, and show it. People must say, well, how do you show gratitude? It's be genuine, with yourself, and that will project. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that will project.